Mr. Burrows, 2 months ago, texts were leaked from a group chat of a number of young Republican leaders across the country, revealing racist, misogynistic, and anti-Semitic language, including, for example, a message stating, quote, "I love Hitler," close quote. 2 of those individuals led the Kansas Young Republicans chapter, William Hendricks and Alex Dwyer. Both participated in using inexcusable language. Mr. Hendricks made racial slurs and used the N-word. Mr. Dwyer referred to white supremacist neo-Nazi code. Rightfully so, Mr. Hendricks and others lost their jobs. Yet some have defended them, most notably Vice President Vance, waved off these disgusting texts as nothing more than, quote, edgy, offensive jokes made by, quote, kids.
This may look like another tense confirmation exchange, but it's actually a stress test for the credibility of American institutions. What's really being tested here is whether those seeking lifetime judicial authority can separate partisan allegiance from constitutional duty. This hearing isn't about individual sound bites. It's about whether the judiciary remains anchored to principle when politics demands convenience. It raises broader questions about integrity, equal justice, and whether those elevated to the bench will defend democratic norms when it costs them politically. In this video, we'll break down how this hearing reveals the pressure points between power and accountability, and what that means for the future of trust in the courts.
I understand that earlier in your career you took on a pro bono case involving DACA recipients.
I did, Your Honor. Senator.
And what was your impression of those clients?
Those clients were good people, and I was happy to help them.
Did you have any question as to whether they had an aspiration to be part of the future of the United States?
Based on the legal work that I did for them, I assume that was the case. I didn't know them at a personal level, but I think that's a fair assumption to make.
I've been involved in this for a while. 24 years ago, I introduced the DREAM Act, which led to DACA under President Obama. And there's still some 800,000 out there, excuse me, protected by DACA who are in question as to their future disposition. If a case came before you considering the legality or constitutionality of DACA, what would you do?
Well, Senator, I think as many nominees before this committee have stated, I'll not give hints or prejudge how a case might come before me. I will apply all applicable law to that question and uphold the rights of the individuals who come before me.
You wouldn't recuse yourself?
Any recusal question that would come before me, I would take on a case-by-case basis and apply the relevant considerations to that.
What we see here is a reminder that judicial neutrality isn't a slogan, it's a discipline. The question is whether a judge can approach policy battles not as political debates, but as constitutional responsibilities. This matters because if neutrality becomes selective, equal justice becomes negotiable. And that leads to a future where courtrooms stop being places of principle and start becoming extensions of party strategy.
Thank you. Mr. Lee, among your clients in private practice was a major tobacco company, R.J. Reynolds, in product liability and wrongful death cases. In those cases, you defended the company against claims brought by plaintiffs and sought the reduction or vacator of judgments to plaintiffs. In one cert position that you drafted, you went so far as to challenge the connection between cigarettes a woman smoked and the larynx cancer she was diagnosed with at age 36. As you sit before us today, can you acknowledge that cigarettes and other products made by tobacco companies can and do cause cancer?
Yes, Senator.
Sorry?
Yes, Senator.
Well, that's good.
This exchange underscores a fundamental truth. Credibility in public service isn't just about legal skill, it's about moral clarity. When nominees recognize real-world consequences, it signals whether they understand the human impact behind legal arguments. That matters because judges shape precedent that affects lives, and acknowledgement of responsibility today influences the integrity of decisions tomorrow.
What about gun laws? You had an interesting case concerning open carry in classrooms and the right of a professor to bar students from carry guns into the classroom. Do you remember that?
Not quite in those terms, but I think I know the case you were talking about.
Could you, if I didn't state it properly, would you do so now?
It was a group of professors who had retained our firm to argue that a Georgia state law was interfering with their ability whether or not to be able to permit guns in their classroom. They thought that they would have that authority through the Board of Regents, and they felt like the state law infringed upon that.
And what position did you argue?
We represented the professors, and so it was a state constitutional law argument. This would have been 2017 or so, kind of a separation of powers argument.
And did that color your judgment as to the Second Amendment rights individuals have?
The case itself did not involve the Second Amendment. It was a state law right. There was just no connection. But obviously, I would faithfully apply any binding precedent involving the Constitution.
Did that experience influence your reaction to the Brown University incident over the weekend?
No, that was obviously a tragedy, but I did not, I kept my legal position and views separate from acknowledging the clear tragedy at Brown.
Here, we see the intersection of rights, governance, and institutional restraint. What matters is not the politics of the moment, but whether judicial reasoning remains grounded in law rather than reaction. If courts fail to balance authority with constitutional guardrails, the consequence is instability, not just legally but socially. The judiciary must interpret, not inflame.
Mr. Burrows, 2 months ago, texts were leaked from a group chat of a number of young Republican leaders across the country, revealing racist, misogynistic, and anti-Semitic language, including, for example, a message stating, quote, "I love Hitler," close quote. Two of those individuals led the Kansas Young Republicans chapter, William Hendricks and Alex Dwyer. Both participated in using inexcusable language. Mr. Hendricks made racial slurs and used the N-word. Mr. Dwyer referred to white supremacist neo-Nazi code. Rightfully so, Mr. Hendricks and others lost their jobs. Yet some have defended them, most notably Vice President Vance, waved off these disgusting texts as nothing more than, quote, edgy, offensive jokes made by, quote, kids. Mr. Burrows, let me ask you, do you know or have you worked with Mr. Hendricks or Mr. Dwyer?
I believe Mr. Hendricks was hired when I worked at Kansas Attorney General's office. So yes, I know him.
What is your reaction to those quotes?
I mean, obviously it's problematic. Senator, I believe I'm over my time. Can I finish my response?
By all means, go ahead.
And I reject any, racism, division of people by characteristics, immutable, or religion, anything like that. I think they were right to fire him.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Lee.
Thanks so much, Mr. Chairman. Thanks to all of you for being here. Mr. Lee, why don't we start with you? Apparently, I've been spelling my name wrong all these years.
This moment forces a choice between minimizing wrongdoing and defending democratic values. It matters because normalization of extremism, even rhetorically, erodes trust in leadership and institutions. The path this leads to is simple. Either public service reinforces ethical boundaries or silence rewrites them. The judiciary cannot afford blurred lines. Taken together, this hearing isn't just about a nominee. It's about the ongoing test of whether those entering positions of lifetime authority truly understand the weight of that power. Accountability, constitutional integrity, and public trust aren't optional qualities. They are the foundation of a functioning democracy. When nominees are pressed, their answers reveal whether they serve the law or convenience. The lesson is clear. Institutions remain strong only when the people inside them choose integrity over loyalty. That is the moral standard, and it's one the country must insist on. Subscribe to Liberty Report USA.